Hello, I'm Matteo, the Chief Mobile Opinionist here at Tech Travel Geeks, and today we're going to unbox, test and review the Alxum 65W USB-C charger with 3 ports. This is a travel charger in my view, and we'll look into why in a moment. And it's been provided to the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel by Alxum themselves as a review unit. So thanks to Alxum for sending us this review charger. And at the end of this video, we also have an exclusive discount code which you can use on Amazon UK to get an extra 5% off. As well as, at the time of publishing this video, there's a 10% discount available already on the Amazon site. So you get 10% plus 5% off. So let's get to it. As it arrived from Amazon, the Alxum charger is pretty straightforward. You've got a bit of literature on the front and a picture of what the charger is actually like. You see that it has application, it has home, school, office, party, restaurant and travel. Obviously here at Tech Travel Geeks we'll be most interested in the travel element of it. And then there's a few other details here, lots of different languages. Nothing that stands out as particularly worrying. Now there's a user manual that explains things on the charger itself. It gives you a little bit of an explanation of what you can expect in terms of power output from the device in different configurations of ports, and just in general a quick start guide. Then we have what I believe makes this a particularly good travel charger with a UK and Commonwealth type plug, a European type plug, and the charger itself, which comes with a US type plug. So that's all that's in the box. I'll put the box aside because we won't be using that for the rest of this video. And inside this loose plastic bag is the 65W Alxum charger itself, and it says GaN USB-C power delivery, or PD charger. Now GaN, if you didn't know, stands for gallium nitride. It's a new industrial process. It's a new, I would say, component or material that's used to make a very powerful charger fit into a much smaller footprint and produce less heat. So this is the charger itself. You can see there's a bit of texture on one side. On the side of the charger you have the 2 USB Type-C ports and a USB Type-A port. On the other side it's all texture. At the top there's the Alxum logo, at the bottom all the small print, which really doesn't have that much apart from the multiple combinations of chargers and what you can expect in terms of power output. I will, during the editing of this video, have that out there so that I can explain that in a bit more detail. Now, to test this charger, obviously you have 3 different types of plugs. We're going to be using my trusty AOFO multi-region plug adapter, and we're going to be trying it out with a selection of devices which will be able to prove how they go. Now, just a bit of housekeeping before we get into the actual testing. I'll be using my McDodo 100W charge cable, which we have already reviewed here on the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel. It's a 100W cable with a screen displaying the power output. So it's capable of up to 100 watts. So the 65W Alxum charger should work fine with it. I have the Honor fast charge cable. This is a 6 amp cable which can carry up to 100 watts, and this is USB Type A. Obviously we won't be able to see the full amount of that, and I'll explain more when we get to testing Honor. And then just to add a bit of double checks, we've got the Essiger 100W cable we recently unboxed and reviewed here on the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel, as well as my trusty 100W charger cable, USB Type-C to Type-C, which has support for a display that tells us the power output. Okay, so with that explanation of how we're going to do things, I'm going to take out the Honor 70 smartphone, which we are still using here at Tech Travel Geeks. the Alxum charger, and I'm going to use it initially just with the US plug. As you can see here, the USB plug, or the actual power socket plug, just flicks out. Now, usually when I plug it into my airflow charger, there's a little bit of a spark. We'll see what happens. Nothing this time. And as you can see, it's plugged in. Now, just turning it up and down, there's no light, there's no LED indicator. Oh, there was something there for a moment. There's no LED indicator to say that the charger is on. So what we'll do is start off with, in this case, my McDodo charger, which has a Velcro cable tie that I added to it. I think the original McDodo one was lost. And we're going to plug that into a power delivery port. So, in theory here, we should get 65 watts, but that also depends on the condition of the device we're plugging into. So in this case, I'm going to turn on the Honor 70 and plug in my McDodo cable. Now you'll see that at the bottom here, it will give you a readout. At the moment, it's powering the Honor 70 with 4 or 5 watts of power. That's probably because the Honor hasn't booted up yet. It is very, very low on power, as in it had automatically shut down, it was so low. So I'm just going to unlock this and see how much we actually pull once the phone is up and running. So we've gone up to 15 watts, 14, 15. It is, according to the Honor, fast charging. And we can see that by switching off the screen and then tapping it on. You can see that it says it's charging, it's at 2%. And the icon at the top here says that it is the double power, which means it is fast charging. But from what we see, it's only 14 watts. That's probably due to the fact that this isn't an Honor optimized cable. So what we're going to do is take the Honor cable and plug it into the USB-A port. Now, word of warning, as I said earlier, there are different outputs that each port can have. Now, in this case where we just have one USB-C port used, it can output to the maximum of the device, which is 65 watts. And the USB-A port is limited to 30 watts max. So it will be double what we're seeing from USB power delivery to the Honor, but it won't be as much. So I'm taking the USB Type A port, popping that in, and plugging that in. Now we're getting the animation saying that it's charging, but it's not telling us that it's charging rapidly, which is a bit worrying. Yeah, so in this case, the Alxum doesn't support Honor's fast charging standards. Even with the actual Honor cable, you can see that we're at 2%, and it's a single icon for power, which means that it's not fast charging. Okay, so that didn't work great if you have an Honor device, but what about other devices? So let's take my Google Pixel 7 Pro, which is not full battery, but not empty either. I'm going to plug that in again with the McDodo cable, and we'll see. In theory, the Pixel should be able to pull up to 33 watts for fast charging, and we see that we've already started off at 21, 22 here. And it says that it is charging rapidly, so it's gone up to 25 watts. I'm quite happy with that. So USB power delivery through Type-C to Type-C definitely has a bit of a bump, but in here, to see the theoretical maximum charging of the Google Pixel 7 Pro, I would need to have had a pretty flat battery to start off with. And last but not least, I will take my Windows laptop. So this is the HP EliteBook X360, and I'm going to plug the same McDodo 100-watt charger in. We'll just ensure the laptop is actually on. Windows Hello is a fantastic thing, but let's see. I plug this into the laptop, and we see that it's starting to take power through. It starts off at 35 watts, 38. It's going up to over 40 watts, and that will also depend on how much the device actually requires. But as you see, it popped over up to 65 watts. It is delivering the power you need to charge, in this case, a Windows Intel-based laptop quite satisfactorily. And if I just check the Windows power settings, it says that it's plugged in, and so it is being recognized by the operating system as well. So obviously there is a bit of load balancing required when you have 3 ports and 65 watts of power. If you were to use 2 separate USB-C ports, so the one in the middle and the one at the bottom, you would get a maximum amount of 45 watts from the bottom one and 20 from the middle one. And if you're using all 3 ports at the same time, you would have, in this case, 45 watts for the bottom one, which should be enough to keep a laptop going, plus 3 amps across the 2 ports, USB-A and USB-C, for a total of 15 watts. So if you're using all 3, you're only getting 60 watts of power output, and not that much from USB-A and the first USB-C. Most of the power goes to USB-C, the main one. And so that's what you'd expect from a 3-port 65-watt charger. Now, what I find really, really good about the Alxum is that obviously we've been using it for a few minutes here, no temperature change whatsoever, it's still cool to the touch. But in this case, you flip up the the US plug, and you can slide in this case, a UK plug. And there you have your UK plug, and you're ready to go. It fits in, it plugs into a UK plug. And then you decide you're traveling to, say, my favorite place for changing planes, Amsterdam, and pop in my European charger, just like that, and you plug that in. And as you'd expect, we'll just prove this. Plug in that, plug in the Google Pixel 7 Pro. So from a 27% charge, it's charging at just over 20 watts here, and it's charging rapidly. It works. And if we were to take another 100-watt cable, this is USB Type-C, we can carry on topping up that Honor 70 in the background. And what happens here is, obviously the Honor 70 will be charging at whatever it decides to pull from that USB Type-C port, but my Google Pixel 7 Pro is still charging rapidly, which is good to see. So, really good product from what I've seen from these tests on the device. And going by Alxum's track record, considering the other Alxum charger they sent us for review is one that I've been using as my main charger in most situations. So this is the one they sent us last time. I would say, as a brand, this is something we can endorse. And obviously we'll be linking in the description to where you can purchase this travel Alxum power 65 watts adapter, as well as the code for getting an extra 5% off. And if you're watching this video as we publish it at the beginning of May 2023, there's also on the Amazon UK page an extra 10% off. So I think for a travel charger that has US, EU and UK plugs, this is a really good deal. I'd say the only thing that could have been extra that would probably have added to the price of the device would have been some sort of pouch to carry the charger and the cables and the plug adapters in. But I think that most people will be able to fashion their own way of doing it, or their bags will already have the relevant pouch to put their 65-watt Alxum charger in. But I think overall, great product. Good to see it so small and compact. Really good for traveling. And thanks to Alxum for sending us this review device. If you have any questions or you'd like to know more, please do leave us a comment in the section below. If you'd like to see a side-by-side comparison between this 65-watt charger and the other Alxum charger that we covered here on the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel, do leave us a comment in the section below and let us know. that will be a project we can work on and give you a side-by-side comparison of these two chargers. But for travel, this compact 65-watt charger with plug adapters seems to be a really good deal. Right, I'll wrap up this video. If you don't already, please do subscribe to the Tech Travel Geeks here on YouTube. We cover consumer electronics, gadgets, accessories, and pretty much anything we think makes the travel experience better. In between those videos, we sometimes put some drone videos and our own travel videos. So be sure to be subscribed, have that notification bell on, and thanks for watching. Speak to you soon.